So it's been a little while since we had an update. This seems like a good time to do one because last night we had our first public screening of Clowns and Robbers here in our hometown of Shreveport. It went really well. We sold out. It was a packed crowd, and had a great Q&A afterwards, which we filmed, and I will be uploading shortly if I haven't already before I upload this. I'm not sure which will go first. But yeah, that was a good experience. The hard thing with making a movie over like 2.5 years is, when you look at the same thing over and over that much, especially a comedy, it's easy to kind of forget if the jokes are even funny. It all just becomes so sort of normalized that you can't kind of, you start kind of second guessing and, thinking that maybe things aren't as interesting as you originally thought when you first mapped it out and thought you had this great idea and you scripted it out and, each of these plot points are funny. And then after a while, it just becomes this thing that you made and a sequence of scenes that we went out and shot. And, whether the plot even works sort of dissolves away and you don't really see any of that anymore. All that is to say that screening it in front of an audience that laughs at a lot of things that I sort of forgot were even supposed to be funny was a very validating experience. It was good to see what people laughed at. It was good to see that people laughed pretty consistently through the whole thing. But also a lot of things I wasn't expecting that I sort of forgot were jokes. Or it went really well, and it made me excited to, it's kind of a cathartic experience of this thing I've been holding on to and kind of sitting on for a really long time that's, ultimately intended for people to watch. It's the first time we've let people watch it, so it felt good and validating. So yeah, this is really probably the most important project I've ever done. It's definitely the hardest project I've ever done, as I think I kind of documented in our production diary. So this screening, I think, meant more than any of the other ones we've had before. And really all it ultimately just makes me want to go ahead and put it online, which is kind of what I think I'm going to do. So, 4th of July weekend will mark 2 years since we started filming. And I've decided that that's a good time to release it. So keep your eyes out for July 4th. That's going to be the date. We're going to go ahead and put it on YouTube and Amazon. And, we still have a bunch of film festivals that we're still hoping to screen at. If us putting it online disqualifies us from any of those, then so be it. And, we're just trying to find an audience, and we haven't had any luck with film festivals yet. So we're just going to go directly to the people and go around that, and kind of getting tired of the politics of all that. There are still a few festivals that we really do want to play in and that are important to me. And I still got my fingers crossed for some of that. And hopefully they'll be understanding of this sort of, I just don't want to wait anymore. Last night was a big step for me, as sort of mentally of starting to put this behind me so I can start on something new. And there's something about just the sort of political side of self-distribution and film festivals and all that's just like, it's exhausting to have to just wait. We're in an age of instant gratification, of making something, sharing it, making something else, sharing it. And it's hard enough in that world to make something for 2 years and then to be in this last stretch of months of waiting when we have an audience ready to watch it, and I'm eager to get that feedback and put it out in the world. So it's just me, I guess, confirming to myself that let's just do it. Let's get this thing out there. I kind of need to do that mentally so that I can move on. And we're going to start filming some documentary projects in July. So I think it would be good for my mental space to go ahead and have this released by the time we do that. So, the alternative was to release late in the fall, like October, November. And that's about when we'll be done with hearing from all the festivals we submitted to. But I don't think I can really wait another 4 or 5 months. So if that's somehow hurting the film, which I really don't think it is, so be it. Ultimately, it's about getting it to as many people as we can. We have the benefit of, we paid for this movie out of our own pockets. A lot of money, thrown away, I guess, on my end, but all of that is to allow me to make these kind of decisions to where it is, I don't have to try to figure out a way to pay back investors or anything. This is my thing that I can put out, and I have that power, and I'm ready to wield it. So, I really think we are kind of in a newer age of stuff. I was resistant to YouTube for a long time, but it turns out that's where we've found our biggest audience, and that's where I found the most validation for what I make. A lot of filmmakers would probably scoff at the idea of making your movie available for free on YouTube, but I think, for me, having as many people as possible see it is the biggest thing I want to do. There's kind of a curve for how that works in regard to the money you make versus the eyeballs that see a project, and the various distribution platforms are kind of a push and pull of those qualities. So, you can make a lot of money potentially by charging $15 a ticket to see it in theaters, but you're gonna have a lot less people see it, and that's not really something I think is worth it. I don't think that's not really an option for us anyway, but it's I just want as many people to be able to see it as possible. So July 4th, Independence Day, we're going to release our independent film and celebrate our independence by doing what we want with our own movie. So stay tuned for that. I know some of you guys have been waiting for a really long time. I hope it lives up to expectations and that I haven't oversold it too much by sharing so much of the process. That's the one fear, is all this waiting, you end up building it up, and that's not always a good thing. But if people like as much as they did last night, which admittedly is a little bit of a biased crowd because it's friends and family and people worked on it, but everybody really liked it. So if that translates at all to the greater audience of YouTube, then I think we'll be in good shape. I'm very much looking forward to whatever happens once we click that button and publish it. But until then, it's like 2 weeks away, so I will try to figure out, I guess, a marketing strategy or some way to help promote that and get that ball rolling. But that is the next step, and then we're going to begin work on whatever's next. So exciting times. Stay tuned, and sorry my dog's barking in the background, but we will have some exciting things to come.